Is walking 6 times, quote, better than running? The secret behind 30 minutes that revitalizes brain power, sharpens eyesight, and stops cancer in its tracks. 1. The hidden secret of daily walking. You already know walking helps, quote, burn calories. But did you know that moving your feet can increase brain volume and ward off Alzheimer's? Or that walking is actually, quote unquote, more effective than running for preventing diabetes? We're going to break down 10 transformative, quote unquote, changes that happen to your body when you walk every single day. Some of these claims might sound impossible, like walking can boost vision and cure back pain, but science has proven it. However, you can't just take an aimless stroll and expect a miracle. There is a specific method to this madness. If you watch until the end, we will reveal the F.I.T formula. That is the exact scientific blueprint for frequency, intensity, and time that guarantees you get results without wasting a second. 2. Benefit 1. Resetting the pancreas. This is where the science gets truly shocking. Duke University conducted a 6-month trial. They compared runners against walkers. The outcome? The walkers won. Walkers showed a 6-fold improvement in glucose tolerance compared to runners. 6 times over. Here is the hidden mechanism: efficient insulin sensitivity. When you sprint, your body burns sugar violently. But when you walk, you train your body to process sugar efficiently over time. This allows the pancreas to produce less insulin, giving the organ a necessary rest. If you are pre-diabetic, running might exhaust you, but walking will save your, quote, life. 3. Benefit 2. Rebooting your brain. Let's start from the very top. A study at the University of Kansas revealed a chilling truth. Sedentary behavior accelerates the onset of dementia and Alzheimer. Over 35 million people are, quote, struggling right now, and that number is projected to double in the next 20 years. But here's the mechanism the, quote, industry ignores: hippocampal volume. The hippocampus is the, quote, command center for memory and learning. When you walk, you're not just burning calories, you are triggering the release of neurotrophic factors. You are forcing blood flow into the brain, stimulating the growth of new neuroblood vessels and cells. Walkers effectively turn back the biological clock on brain atrophy. You are building a physically bigger, more resilient brain. 4. Benefit 3. Releasing ocular pressure. This sounds impossible, but the mechanism is undeniable. Walking saves your eyesight. How does moving your feet fix your eyes? It's all about pressure. Glaucoma, the silent thief of sight, is caused by the buildup of intraocular fluid. It's like a dam about to burst, crushing the optic nerve. The Glaucoma Research Foundation confirmed this, quote, link. Walking acts as an auxiliary, quote, pump. It regulates blood flow and systematically lowers internal eye, quote, pressure. High-intensity exercise can sometimes spike pressure suddenly. Walking helps stabilize it. You are literally walking away from blindness. 5. Benefit 4. Exercising demons with chemicals. Finally, the mind. The Journal of Psychiatric Research studied 50 individuals with severe depression. Walking 30 minutes daily annihilated the symptoms. The mechanism is a chemical flush. Walking burns cortisol, the stress hormone, and releases endorphins and BDNF. Iowa State University found that walking improved student mood without them even trying. It's a hard reset for your emotional state. You cannot maintain a stagnant depressive state when the body is moving forward. The two states are biologically, quote, incompatible. 6. Execution details and call to action. Factor 1. Frequency. The goal is every day. If weak, start 3 to 5 times a week. Even if it's only 5 minutes, make it consistent. You are reprogramming cells. They require a daily signal. Factor 2 is intensity. This is where people get lazy. A leisurely stroll is useless for quote-unquote cardiovascular change. You need to reach the quote-unquote talk test zone. You should be moving at 2 to 3 miles an hour. You can speak, but you shouldn't want to. If you can belt out a song, you're going too slow. If you're gasping for air, you're going too fast. Find the sweet spot where your heart is quote-unquote engaged. Factor 3 is time. The magic number is 30 quote-unquote minutes. That is the threshold where quote biological changes kick in. Aim for 6,000 steps as a quote-unquote baseline. Don't obsess over the 10,000 number quote-unquote immediately. Start with what you can conquer, then quote-unquote expand. Here is your commandment. Hydrate before walking. A dehydrated engine will seize up. Next is the movement rule. Swing your arms. This engages the upper body and increases calorie burn by up to, quote, 10%. Finally, the habit rule. Do it at the same time every quote-unquote day. Mornings are best for resetting the, quote, biological rhythm. You have the diagnosis, you have the, quote, cure. And now, you have the, quote, formula. Pharma companies hate this. The gym industry hates, quote, this. Because it is free, effective, and entirely within your control. You can choose to let the rust take over. You can choose to let your brain atrophy and your bones dissolve. Or you can get up. Lace up your shoes and reclaim your biology, one step at a quote time. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow is a quote lie. Start today. 7. Benefit 5. Spinal pressure reduction. Back pain is the modern plague. High-impact exercise makes it worse. Sitting makes it worse. Walking is the remedy. Your spinal discs have no, quote, blood supply. They are like, quote, sponges. They only receive nutrients when they are compressed and, quote, released. Walking provides this pumping action. It circulates nutrients into the spine's soft tissues. It improves posture and strengthens the erector spinae muscles that keep you upright. You're not just walking, you are oiling the rusty hinges of your spine. 8. Benefit 6. Improving the digestive machinery. Your gut is a quote-unquote muscle. If you don't move, it doesn't quote-unquote move. A study on 150,000 people revealed a, quote, striking correlation. Sedentary people died from colon cancer. Active people survived. Walking stimulates peristalsis, the wave-like muscle contractions that move food through the digestive tract. Just 30 minutes daily helps, quote, regulate bowel movements and significantly reduces colon cancer risk. And if the worst happens and you are diagnosed, walking statistically increases, quote, survival chances. You are literally assisting the body mechanically in waste removal. 9. Benefit 7. The cardiovascular shield. We have been brainwashed into believing that if you aren't running, your heart, quote, isn't working. The American Heart Association has, quote, debunked this. When it comes to, quote, preventing coronary heart disease and stroke, walking is just as effective as running. Let me repeat, equivalently effective. The mechanism here is blood pressure regulation. Walking for half an hour daily acts as a natural beta blocker, dilating arteries, reducing bad cholesterol, and forcing oxygen-rich blood through the system. You are scrubbing your arteries clean without the, quote, cortisol spikes associated with extreme cardio. 10. Benefit 8. The muscular illusion. You don't need a gym membership to, quote-unquote, tone up. 10,000 steps can rival a gym session if done, quote-unquote, properly. Most people destroy their bodies with high-impact stress. They tear muscles and inflame joints, requiring days of recovery. Walking is the stealth bomber of fitness. It's low impact, requiring no downtime. You can do it every day. But you must execute the correct form. Spine straight, elbows at 90 degrees, stabilizing the pelvis. 11. Benefit 9. The recovery protocol and sleep. From heart surgery patients to those recovering from knee, quote-unquote, injuries, walking is the bridge back to health. It is the only, quote-unquote, safe harbor for those who cannot tolerate the high impact of running. A massive side benefit noted by the community is improved sleep, quote-unquote, quality. Many report that snoring has, quote, vanished after a month of consistent walking. Leg muscles act as a, quote, second heart, pumping venous blood back, minimizing varicose veins. 12. Mistakes and the F.I.T. formula. Now, before you run out the door, listen to me. Most people fail because they treat walking like a chore or do it the wrong way. Do not stroll while looking at your phone. That's not walking, that's stumbling. Do not wear flat shoes with no support. You will destroy your foot, quote, arch. Do not act like this is, quote, optional. If you do this sporadically, you get zero, quote, benefit. The power lies in repetition. Now that you have reached the end, I will give you the blueprint. You are not just strolling, you are executing a protocol. This is the F.I.T. formula: frequency, intensity, and time. If you violate these variables, you are wasting your time. 13. Benefit 10. Skeletal fortification. Your bones are living entities. They respond to stress. If you don't use them, they vanish. It is called osteoporosis. The Arthritis Foundation recommends 30 minutes of walking to reduce, quote, inflammation. But the mechanism here is the piezoelectric effect. When you walk, the impact creates a tiny electrical charge in the bone, signaling osteoblasts to build new, quote, bone tissue. You are sending electrical signals for the skeleton to become, quote-unquote, armor. Running can break bone. Walking, quote, builds it. 14. Benefit 11. Expanding lung capacity. Your lungs are, quote, filters, but when you sit, they become, quote, stagnant. Walking is an, quote, aerobic catalyst. It forces the diaphragm to work, quote, harder, increasing the amount of oxygen flowing into the blood. But here is the hidden perk: toxin removal. Deep, rhythmic breathing while walking pushes accumulated stale gases out of the bottom of the lung. You are flushing your, quote, respiratory system. This, quote, boosts immune function. Lung distress weakens immunity, but, quote, walking reinforces this barrier. Want to stop getting sick? Stop sitting in stale air and start pumping your lungs. 15. Advanced modifications and warnings. For those who want more, add a weighted vest or try Nordic walking. Using poles activates the upper body and increases calorie burn without adding extra stress to the joints. Even walking backward is a modification to activate completely different quote-unquote muscle groups and challenge brain coordination. But beware of the silent enemy, plantar fasciitis. If you feel a sharp heel pain, stop and check your footwear immediately, or all progress will halt. Don't let initial enthusiasm destroy the biological mechanics of your feet. 16. Synergy from the environment. Where you walk determines the quality of the oxygen you take in. A warning from health experts. Walking near a highway forces you to inhale car exhaust deep into expanding lungs. Choose woods or beaches to combine movement with, quote, forest bathing therapy, which lowers cortisol much more than a city stroll. Furthermore, walking barefoot on sand or grass, known as earthing, is advocated by many for reducing inflammation. Be cautious, though. It contradicts the rule about supportive footwear we discussed. 17. The social accountability factor. Hundreds of successful people don't rely just on willpower. They rely on obligation. Walking with a friend or a dog creates an accountability loop that forces you out the door. It turns a solitary chore into a social, quote, ritual, reinforcing the habit better than any motivation. You won't want to, quote, disappoint your buddy at 5 a.m. Social connection during a walk also more effectively reduces feelings of isolation and depression. 18. The power of multitasking. You don't have to walk in quote-unquote silence if that bores you. Combining walking with listening to an audiobook or a podcast turns this time into an, quote, efficient learning hour. Some use this time for meditation or prayer, transforming it into exercise for both the spirit and the body. As long as you aren't staring at a phone screen and tripping, maximize this time. But remember, sometimes the silence and the sounds of nature are the best antidote for the modern mind. If you want to uncover more incredible truths others are too afraid to touch, hit that subscribe button right now. And if you've already subscribed, well, welcome home.